so that Matt Babineau can comment that
he already asked, am I late or am I early?
No, Matt, you're not late. We were late by a whopping 2.5 seconds. We are live, people. Hello. Yeah, as usual, just going to let everyone get the notification and show the hell up, and then we will fire it up official. But cheers to you, San Diego.
Oh, yeah. Cheers. I like beer, too.
I haven't opened a beer yet. Okay.
I'm having my what we drank right now.
Oh,
I did,
okay.
And yes, Mr. Bob would know, as we predicted first.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Matt B is in BBQ.
Yes. Who
official caterer of Indie Beer Show future parties.
Yes, exactly.
Can I just say that I'm really excited about that party? Like when it does happen, that and our beach party, I'm really looking forward to. So
yes.
So let's hope they happen. Come on. Okay, where did I put this? Dang it. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Work will not stop today. It's 6:30. I started 13 hours ago. Give it up.
My favorite is like 6:30 and 7 on a Friday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's one more email before I leave. Here you go. Oh, man.
All right, screw it. Let's go.
All right.
No more fucking texts from the bosses. Yeah. Welcome to the Indie Beer Show. Great screen gag, guys. We'll talk about the world here in a little bit. We do have a fan on the show, but this week we decided just to hang out with each other. Back before we got placed under house arrest for a year because of a pandemic, this would have been one of those times we threw a bottle share or did a live show or one of the others. A plethora of things we used to do to be able to hang out with our fans. Not really permitted anymore, but will be again someday. It will freaking come back.
And we'll let Brian come too.
Yes, I will absolutely come to the first live event, no matter where it is or when it is. Absolutely, and maybe even all the live events.
Let's do it in a coconut grove, guys. Somewhere.
Not that. I reject your offer of coconut. But everything else. It will be really fun to attend an event on the other side of the screen. Let's say. I look forward to being a fan.
No heckling.
Yeah, he's gonna be heckling us, you guys.
I'll heckle up here. Or maybe I'll text you.
He's gonna text.
Yeah. I'll text the group chat. So anyways, this week we're just gonna hang out and thank you, folks, for reminding me that we are live on YouTube as well. That is an option. If you don't like Facebook, of course, if you don't like Facebook and you don't know that we're on YouTube, you're certainly not seeing this right now. So I don't know why I even bothered telling people, but there you go. We do pump this out to YouTube as well. So we're going to start with a beer. No fucking way. On the beer show. It's crazy. Brandon is holding up Midnight Expression. I need to make some room in my glass. I pre-gamed a little too hard, or not enough, I guess, really. All right. So Midnight Expression is a dark lager from the one and only port here in San Diego. And I hope some of our fans had the opportunity to go out and get these beers. I know the notice was short, but that's how it works sometimes in beer. We go roll with the punches and improvise. So everything you expect. In the glass, it looks like a porter or a little bit of stout. If you hold it up to a light, you can see that it's a little more ruby toned than a porter, just barely more brown, auburny type of color. But I've had this beer many times. It is phenomenal.
4.5%.
Yeah, this is one
roasty of those, on the verge of smoky. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say this is one of those beers that you see it and you're like, man, that's gonna punch you in the face. But then you drink it, not at all. It's great. It's tasty, and you can drink a lot of them. So that's like the good thing about this. It's not gonna sit you on your ass. So
Punch you in the face is like 2 a.m. expression when everyone's got to clear out and the bouncers come.
yeah.
Is that the 2 a.m. bike ride by Fall?
Yeah, 2 a.m. bike ride.
Yes, indeed. It does punch you in the face with flavor, though.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to make sure. Like a lot of times, people see the word lager and they kind of associate it with a lot less flavor strength. This particular lager has a very strong roasty flavor, as Brandon described earlier, and it's very flavorful and a satisfying drink. You feel it, even though it's low in ABV. It's got it's just got some body to it, and again, port. Lost Abbey, THC, the one that does the bubbles.
Tiny bubbles.
There you go. Tiny bubbles. Those 4 brands, they just fucking excel. And so, cheers to you, San Diego. First
cheers,
beer.
y'all.
Enjoy
Cheers.
it.
Another fun note. This would go good with anything that Matt's cooking. Total, there would be this seamless smoke to glass thing happening. So just throwing it out there for when we all get together. It's gonna be awesome. Let's bring it back.
Again, that's the Indie Beer Show Beach Bash,
followed by the Indie Beer Show Barbecue Fest at the Indie Beer Show Barbecue Fest.
Right, there you go. And we should release a cookbook with his recipes that all include beer.
There
that
you
you
go.
can only get at our cookout barbecue / Babino BQ, whatever we're calling it.
Babino
only upload. I like it.
Estella just came up with an idea that will literally make tens of dollars. Excellent. Excellent. It's awesome. And speaking of Estella, you owe us a pretty big update on Mujeres Brew House. We haven't really talked about it much, but you guys are doing really good. So let's start with how have things been since the stay-at-home restricted was reduced and you're allowed to allow people to drink outside, but on-site again?
Okay, so we've been running these markets, and these markets have been just amazing for us. We get local vendors. We do some of them that is just women that were, very women-focused businesses. And it's crazy. I have a line out the door of people just wanting to get in. And we do follow all social distancing rules. Everybody has a mask on. We have a table where everybody checks in to just remind them. Don't touch anything. Ask the vendor. We have hand sanitizer there, all that. We were doing to go, but I mean, it wasn't, it's to go. People don't want to drink there. I mean, drink to go. So
it's amazing how depressed business is, at least according to every brewery owner we've talked to, when the restrictions are to go only. People really want to go out and drink at the place.
Yeah. So this weekend we have a market again. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting that echo, guys.
It's all right.
No, whatever. But this Saturday we actually put together a very last minute market, and it's hosted by Irish. She's the one that did our bathrooms. If you guys have not seen our bathrooms, you have to check out on our Instagram. There's actually a whole story of just how many pictures people take in our bathrooms. Wow. Because they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and we do have a line for the bathroom the majority of the time, but that's because people are taking pictures. So we do have a problem with that. But
they're having a gnarly time in there. Just for the gram.
Well, exactly. You see 3 people walk out of the bathroom. I'm like, oh, but then they're all posting the pictures. So I'm like, can you just leave that door open while it's a group in there, please? Thanks. But it'll be this Saturday, 12 to 6. You guys can come by. We are going to have also some new beer coming out. It is going to be a kettle sour that we actually brewed with South Norte. And hopefully you guys will have that by next week. I'll keep you guys posted of when it's actually going to be released. But we are flavoring it 4 different ways because we are going to do michelada flights. So it'll be 4 different flavors of michelada flights. I'm really looking forward to that. And we have another market on the 20th with Cositas Bonitas, which means pretty things. And we are doing an event with Chula Chamoy. and she makes some of the best rim dip that I've ever had, honestly. And she makes spicy ones, non-spicy, and we're gonna have an exclusive michelada that night for that event. So, and you can actually buy her stuff there because she will be at that market. And the big news, guys.
Big, that wasn't the big news.
No.
The old man from the Harris Brew House.
Pew, 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 pew.
We're looking at location number 2.
What? How?
Damn, already?
You barely opened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just looking, nothing permanent, nothing, that I can tell you, yeah, guys, but we are looking. So I'll keep you guys updated.
What are the parameters of location 2 that you're looking for?
It would just be a tasting room. Obviously, it's not going to be a brewery, but I'll just say it's not going to be in San Diego. I will tell you that.
Ooh, nice.
So we're seeing,
syndication,
we're
already.
figuring it out. Yeah, just the way the support that we've had and just the demand that we've had is just a little more than we expected, and we want to see what else is out there. So yeah, we're looking. So hopefully, fingers crossed for me, guys.
Yes, totally. Check it out. So, speaking of
slow, Abel.
Okay, ET. Jeez.
Abel needs to get AT&T because of upload speed. Anyways, but are you guys, Estella? I should have said guys with the question I'm about to ask, but whatever. Are you guys participating in Peak Boots Collaboration Day on International Women's Day?
Yes, we are. But I think we're actually going to brew it before International Women's Day, so we have it available for that day. Was what we were hoping, but I don't know if that's going to happen anymore because it's getting really close to the date already. So, but we are participating. We are registered. From what I understand, there's over 160 breweries that are registered right now across the country, maybe the world. I'm not sure what
country. There's more than that in the world.
Yeah, no, but they put out that number. I'm not sure if that was just United States or what. But we're gonna participate in that, and we're gonna invite not just the girls in the club, obviously, but we're gonna invite anybody who wants to come and brew with us that day, that wants to check it out and wants to see. Obviously, be safe and masks and all that stuff. So that's the only issue right now with trying to do that. But
so by my calculations, you have about 6 days to brew if you want to have it. If you want to have it, so I know Three Frogs brewed theirs last week, so they'll have theirs ready for the day. They won't be brewing on the day.
And for those that don't know, they typically want you to brew on that day, which is March 8th, International Women's Day. But the problem that we found was everybody's brewing that day, so you can't go to all of them. So we'd rather do it now. That way we can get maybe a little bit more participation and have the beer available by then. So
that's cool.
So that's what we're hoping for. And I know Stone brewed theirs. I believe Second Chance is brewing theirs on tomorrow. Yeah. So there's a few that have already brewed it or in the process of brewing it. So
that's excellent. Well, good to participate in things that have. It seemed like your clique, and it's always good to support Pink Boots in general. They're just a great organization. So let's catch up with the sidebar. Yes, Matt.
He's so street.
Yes. Oh, that's what everyone says about the Bobinos. So street. That's rad. I'm glad you're ready for our barbecues and our beach party. Hello, Nick. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you being here.
That's thanks, nice. Friend.
Hello, Danielle. I know
she's over there.
I was going to say she's way far away.
But she came in the corner of my eye and she was like kind of creeping. I was like, "What? What are you doing?" She's like, I'm just looking.
Now we know what she was looking at. The blue hair.
I also think we need to start calling Epic North Park like Epic North Park 2 or something, because it is in a different location than their first North Park location. What Epic North Park is now in the old Waypoint, correct?
It's not looking like we need to worry about it for very long.
2 more months. 2 more months. Yeah. It'll be gone in April.
By the time we come up with a new name, it'll be
right.
over.
By the way,
NPII. It's Roman numeral.
NPI.
I mean, it should be Epic Park Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm down with that one. I'm down with that one.
Thanks for joining us, Jason. Nice to see you, man. Yay from North Cal. That's cool. We love it when our gospel spreads beyond San Diego. Maybe I shouldn't have given us that much credit, but you know what. So, Abel, I don't know if you guys listening have been to Society, but what they do to keep people safe is really above and beyond. They've got about 20 feet between each table in their parking lot. And when and if shade units come back, since they were all destroyed in the past windstorms, when and if they do come back, you basically get a whole entire 20 by 20 tent to yourself. It's really cool. But how has it been for you so far, Abel, on the other side of the counter since they allowed on-site consumption again?
I mean, back to this time around, everything's been good. I mean, people have been nice. It hasn't been as chaotic before with people hating to wear masks and all that kind of stuff. But I think because the vaccination is out there now, so people are being a little bit more lax. But we've been busy. I think not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that, the first Saturday after the Monday we opened up, we got bombarded. Like with so many people there, we were probably like the most money we made in like a year. Because it's been so dead. Because I was talking to Mike over there, and he gave me a little insight on the numbers of how many beers were poured that day. And from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we poured 487 beers.
Yo!
Yeah.
So Brian showed up.
I was just saying, there's a lot of breweries right now that were just like, fuck.
Yeah. So it was, I won't tell you the numbers of that day of how much we made, but the beers, I was like, holy crap. Like I was there and I worked for that day from 10 to 6:30 ish. So I was there all day.
Poured like 250 of those, man.
Oh yeah. So it was a good tip day too. So that's been great, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, like you said, our tables are pretty good far apart. We lost our tents in the whole windstorms. So all that got damaged. We have just basic like umbrellas. That's, you know, like picnic umbrellas that go out there on the tables. We have heat lamps in between all like every other table, so we're getting more, so we can have a much for every table. We want to have a heat lamp for. So, but then that's only going to last for another month and a half, and then we're going to be right into summer.
Like, how San Diego is it that we all have to have freaking propane patio heaters when it's 65? Like
when it drops below 72.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm the one that's like, "Where's the heater?" Okay, I want to sit over there. Like
I'm guilty too.
That's me. I was at 3 Punk the other day, and they literally moved the heater for me because they didn't even have it out. And
I know.
And he's like, "I know you want the heater still." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do. Get it over here."
It's funny. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just, you know, me moving around so much or just my Texas roots, but it's like I'm hot all the time. So I'm out there and like I'm out there. I'm out there in a shirt and so I'm out there in shorts and a t-shirt, just running around outside, and people are looking at me like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, I know. No,
and I show up in a jacket.
Yeah, and there's people showing up like there's people showing up like they're going to Wisconsin. I'm like, really? You need that big North Face down jacket right now? Like,
yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, no, like you said, everything's been going well. Everything's going well on my side. You know, our staff is coming back. Everybody got furloughed, starting to come back. So it's great to see all these faces again. You know, like we had Stoney, he's back. You know, Amanda's a new girl, Todd, Cece, and then, you know, us. Me, Troy, and Mallory were the only full-timers, so we were the only three really holding it down for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear that business is coming back. I think you know, every brewery and certainly all the other businesses that have been massively impacted from COVID is when they see things like this, it gives them a little bit of hope that when this is all over and behind us, you know, hopefully in August, September, that you know, their usual customers will come back. So I hope that's all true. And, you know, especially today after hearing that at least our country has secured enough vaccines to vaccinate everyone in our country. That's good news. Yeah. They're not all here yet. There's still rollout issues. There's still supply issues, but at least we've paid for it all. So at least it's coming. We just gotta hold out, keep the line, don't slip up, keep your mask on, keep your distance, be careful. Nobody's doing this anymore, but please do. Anyways,
it does give me hope though that you see a lot of breweries hiring also,
yes,
because
absolutely.
that means that they're all getting busier, which is a good thing. Hopefully people follow the rules and we don't have some big spike again because of the Super Bowl. But I mean, I have seen so many jobs, like the breweries are hiring, bars are hiring again, so that's awesome to see as well.
Definitely. Speaking of business overall, recently Society switched over to Stone Distribution, which is the largest craft distribution company in America. Has that been good for you? Has your business increased? Have you noticed any change being on the inside?
I mean, because that's all in the back office more than it is what I see. But I know for a fact that we're at capacity. Like, we're brewing like hell. We're canning like hell. Everything's coming out. And they're buying 4 more tanks to fit in.
Okay, so that's the answer.
Yeah, so that's all I know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know anything else because I'm not, preview to that, but I just know we're kicking ass right now and we're killing it. And again, when we had to go for just to go only, I mean, we were very fortunate last year that we got a canning line in February. We weren't going to open it up. We weren't going to use it until like April. But because of COVID, it forced us to kind of use it right away. And then we opened up to deliver all across the states, which got really chaotic. So that's why they kind of narrowed it down to just California. And then, but we're still, even to today, I think I sent out like 2 6-packs today. I mean, there's at least 1 or 2 deliveries a day that's going to like San Francisco or Sacramento. I mean, some to Los Angeles. It's just all the time. There's like at least 1 or 2 packages a day.
Abel, are you still helping can like you were before, or are you
I do when they need it. I'm kind of like the third string quarterback per se. Say if Tampa Bay, if Tampa Bay is kicking Kansas City ass, which maybe never happen, but if it does happen, So they already staffed all their production people, and it's just one of those things. If they're sick or they something's wrong and they can't be there as many hours, then they call me in. I had to work today behind the bar. I normally don't work Thursdays, but Troy is on vacation. He went out of town, so I had to fill in.
Must be nice.
Yeah, he's. I think he's going to Key West, so he's going
out of town. What's that?
So he got out of Santee for once. That was very nice. He thought he could ride his horse all the way to Key West, but I told him no.
It's riding the horse across that bridge is tough. It's really tough. But I would say just the fact that you said that you're at capacity and that they've ordered 4 more tanks is a pretty good indication that business is on an uptick with your new distributor. So that's really cool.
Well, if you come by this, you've seen it, Brian. So if anybody comes by Society and you walk into our tasting room and you look to where our area used to be, where everybody could sit and stand, it's just full of cans. It's full of empty cans ready to get filled in, because there's pupil cans, there's harlots, there's like basically from the ground to almost the roof. And you know how tall it is, Brandon. It's all the way up there.
That's significant.
So we got like probably in that half that tasting room full of cans.
Don't turn on the fans.
No, we don't do that. It's too cold.
So if they do go back to the 25% inside, do you think most breweries' tasting rooms are going to do that? Or now that most of them have patios, are they just going to keep everybody outside? Because personally, me, at Mujeres, I'd rather keep everybody outside.
I think it's going to depend on how much room people have, but go ahead.
Yeah. On our end, we are going to keep both. Like, I think with this whole COVID opening up and us outside, I think Doug has really thought about that and like wants to keep that outside patio, so like an outside beer garden. Right. So that might, in the future, I think that might just turn into a beer garden altogether, even if we have seating inside. Of course, we'll have to move all those cans and get everything out of the way, and then we'll have to again Tetris everything in with the new 4 tanks coming in, and now moving these cans over somewhere else. Right. But we will probably open up, I'd say, within that week. So if it says Monday, we can open 25%, either that Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, like after we get everything clean.
Right. Okay.
That's awesome. But I think what I kind of expect this to kind of trickle down through everyone is I don't see anyone giving up their outdoor patios unless the laws change eventually for the temporary licensing they gave everyone for outsides. And then I'm sure there's still going to be a path to make them permanent regardless, as long as they weren't in the public right away, which all of those will have to go away. All the decks in the middle of the street are going to have to go away eventually.
Those are scary.
Yeah,
some are.
It's a little scary driving down Elkhorn Boulevard to University and like by 30th, and it's just like, ugh,
on Adams, on Adams. I'm always
you're going 30 miles an hour, and there's people sitting like 6 inches from your car as you zoom by.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
And then even if you're sitting there and eating, you're like, oh, I want some smog in my soup, please.
Yeah,
that was downtown. I went to go eat in downtown, and literally, it was like every car that went by, it like blew everything off the table pretty much, and I'm like, nah, this isn't cool at all. Like, I'm not okay with this, but yeah.
But it's better than nothing, and
yeah.
And so far, it at least seems that the science is supporting that if you're eating outdoors and it's sunny, it's a lot harder to transmit anything to your friends or the workers. So, but it's still, there is this. The way to be safe is to not mix your household with someone else. And I know it sucks, but that's the way to stay safe, is to not mingle your bubble with someone else's bubble. But at the same time, that's, like for me, that's why we don't go anywhere ever. It's not because I don't want to. It's because I get enough exposure at work, and I still have to meet. You can't build a house remotely, so I'm still inside occasional person's house. I still have to meet people in the field sometimes to go over layouts and stuff that aren't able to be discussed over phones, and so that I get enough of that exposure. So that's why I'm on total lockdown till vaccination. But I'm in 1B, so that might only be 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see.
Hey, I'm in 1B too.
Yes, I think most of almost everyone in food services, and then and construction,
agriculture.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good stretch. But whatever, take what you can get.
Yeah,
and then I think also police are in the same tier as all of that. So I hope they keep up with everything, and I hope the supply of vaccines keep coming. I mean, hearing that we have a chance of really pulling this off and having at least enough people vaccinated that things would be much safer before the end of baseball is just really, really, really sounds great for me. I know, personal, but there you go. So before we jump into our top 3, we do have to catch up with a couple things over here. I don't know, Maggie. It was pretty close. It was pretty close. Yes, Maggie, you always go. My wife's with you guys. Like, she wants to sit by the heater, and so we always have to she takes a seat by the heater, and I sit on the other side of the table, and then I still complain about it because I'm me. Yes, Stone is a #1 distro company. It will be hilarious to me when society has to bend over and make a hard seltzer, even though they're saying they don't want to.
Never.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have a hazy coming.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You were never going to make a hazy too. So you were also never going to can pupil. Anyways, there's a whole list. But this is great. So Greg does work at Stone. He's also one of our patrons. Thank you for joining us, Greg. And it's really cool that you guys keep running out of pupil. And it is a beautiful fresh beer problem. That's rad. I agree, Melissa. Thank you for joining us. And yes, all the outdoor beer gardens.
All of them.
Before COVID, we always used to talk about what a shame it was on how little outdoor beer gardens we had in San Diego. Now we have the opposite problem.
Cherish the few that there was.
Yeah, exactly. So
and being such like a vacation town, it was weird that we didn't have enough.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yes, double your mask, double the fun. Good job, Rudy. And awesome, Jason. You're in my group. Yay! I have a lot of friends in science and healthcare that have already gotten at least first dose. Some have gotten second, and they're already making plans to hang out. I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm right behind you, but fuck you. I want to hug my friends.
Brandon, any word for you?
To be honest, a lot of people do ask me that question. It makes me pretty upset because I'm nowhere even close. You'd think that somebody with underlying condition who hasn't left their house in forever could get it, but nope. and no word as to when I will. So it actually makes me very, very mad.
Yeah.
Because there's no loophole for me. You know what I mean? There's no like. You would think lupus would be a loophole. Like, I think I probably need it.
That shouldn't be a loophole.
You should do like what the players that are retiring do. They'll sign that 1 year contract with somebody, and then they retire like the next day. So you should come back. You should come back to society for like a day.
I was gonna say,
exactly
come back to society for a day.
I'll hire you at Mujeres for a day if you want.
There you go.
Yeah, I see. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Loophole. But no, there's nothing in sight. But luckily, I can do what I do here, and I'm pretty used to it. So it could be worse. It could be way worse, and it's not like
of course,
I need to run out there and do a bunch of stuff anyway. So
and
it's all good.
If things keep going this way, you're probably, mid-April till they're out of these priority brackets they invented out of nowhere. So
probably
hopefully that really continues that way. And like all they said, if you wanted to be a consultant for Keiko Construction for a couple days, I certainly have some Googling you could do for me. Anyways,
excellent. When you see my Googling, you'd be like, maybe not.
This is what you found? Maybe you shouldn't do your own research.
Branch out on what you're looking at on the internet, for God's sake.
That's awesome. So speaking of COVID, we decided to make our top three this week. The top three things we are doing to survive COVID mentally. I mean, there's this weird, odd mental pressure associated with this entire thing, from just worrying about the entire world to just the oddity of not seeing your friends all the time, or your family even, or many people have different levels of restrictions that they have followed. Some people said fuck it all and didn't give a shit, didn't change their life at all. Most of the people on our show heavily changed their life. None as much as Brandon, who's been in complete lockdown for about 20 days, less than a year, I believe, if my math is right. You're very, very close. But let's start with Brandon. So, Brandon, the number 3 thing you have done or are doing to deal with the overall pandemic mental issue.
Well, I knew early on that if I was going to drink as much as I have, and many of us have during the pandemic, I was going to need to even that out. And I've always wanted to exercise, but I've always been super busy. Well, that wasn't a humongous problem all of a sudden. So I thought, you know what? I love to hike, and I am allowed to leave the house to do like a hike or a run or something like that. Take my mask, and if I see somebody, I run way wide of them with the mask on and all that. So it all works out great. So it's been a really good thing. I've become like a distance runner out of the blue. I didn't even try to. I hike many, many miles. Sometimes if the mood strikes me, I can go like 10 or more miles either way. And it's been really fun. And I'm more fit than I was before. And thank God, because like I said, I've been drinking a lot of beer. And I like that. But yeah, it's been kind of neat to kind of like explore that part, because I was never really all much of an exerciser at all in life ever. I was mostly like a diet guy, to like maintaining a certain like schedule, like what I eat, watching that and watching what I drink, kind of evening it out. But now that I'm actually like gaining some muscle and doing some stuff, it feels really good. So I don't think that would have happened without the pandemic, and it's got it helps me with the mental part. Just getting outside is really cool.
Cool.
And you're getting ready for the impending zombie apocalypse, and you'll be able to outrun them. Good job. Well done.
Exactly. I just hope they're not like that. What was that?
28 days later.
28 days later. World War Z. One, yeah.
Yeah.
Because a running zombie, I give up.
Yeah.
That's a scary damn thing.
Yeah, if they're the deranged super fast zombies, we're all dead. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Estella, number 3.
So I kind of dove into Mujeres, like literally just was like, I'm just gonna do this. I would find myself at the brewery just doing I don't even know what, and that was just kind of like the way that I kind of felt better. I just sometimes I was there just stacking crowlers and like it really did help me because I mean, I never stopped working. I'm still considered essential. Like that didn't stop for me at all. If anything,
that tag doesn't feel good, does it? That essential
yeah,
tag is
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. So I just kind of went full in at Mujeres, and obviously it worked because we're doing pretty well. So yeah, yeah.
So you just put in like 80 hours a week of work.
It was like I'd get off work and I'd go straight to Mujeres. Like, why? I don't even need to be here. I was like, I'm just gonna go and check and make sure everything's good. Like, I don't know, just I just found myself doing like the most dumb things, making sure all the screws were tight on the friggin' stools and stuff like that. Just, that just made me feel better. So yeah, but that's what
awesome.
I did.
That's rad. Mr. Garcia, number 3 for you, sir.
My number 3 would be puzzles.
Nice, like old world, like 1,000
no, I mean it would be like 500 to 750 puzzles, but I was buying. I would buy album cover puzzles. So I had I had the Ramones, I had Megadeth, I had Clash, and then of course I threw in like a Beetlejuice poster and a Labyrinth poster. So
nice.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where I think that was like the trend or something. Like that was a fad at that moment, right when everything started. Like people started buying puzzles everywhere because when I decided to go buy a puzzle, they were hard to find. Like they were really hard to find puzzles out there because people were just buying them up. And then if we wanted to get like a good fun, like a Star Wars poster, but it'd be like $85 for it. And I was like, oh, I was like, come on. Like I just want like a $10 to $20 range, you know?
Like I'm looking for entertainment, not a collectible.
And it was actually pretty funny because, we bought the puzzle and then, we had the table and we would do it and all the time. And my roommate would hang out and she was very upset that I would finish it in like 2 minutes. So I would do it and then I would take some pieces off.
So you knew where they went again?
And then I'd be like, hey, that's not finished, bud. Finish it.
Are you at least letting her put the last piece in or no?
Oh yeah, we went back and forth on that. Like there was I did a whole puzzle and I left a note that says, "Hey, last piece, put it in." And then the next time around, she would do it, and then she's like, "Hey, last piece, put it in." And but no, that little did she know I already finished it. But you finished it, took a piece out, and I just took that piece out. But yeah, no, the puzzles would kind of kept me a little bit sane, kind of like kept me entertained because again, you Netflix binge watch everything, but sometimes it's like staring at the TV is just too much.
Yeah.
And it's like if I got to use my brain a little bit to see like, oh, this shape fits over here, that's all it took. Plus playing all the video games on my phone, like crossword games, it was fun.
Nice.
Did you run into this phenomenon I've seen a lot lately where like you do a whole puzzle and it's missing a piece?
No, we got a clean house.
That would drive me insane.
My dog stole the last piece of a damn puzzle. I tried to eat it and ruined it.
No.
Oh my God! I was like, Wiley, man, come on! This was a 2,000 piece puzzle.
Oh.
Apparently,
the hardest one out of all those puzzles was the Ramones one because it's the black and white like painting of them, and it's this it's kind of like all the outside's black, and then it fades into white on everything, and then it's just a silhouette of every character of the Ramones. So it was like I'm just like looking at the pieces. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'll make it fit.
Yes, exactly. You fit here.
It comes with a mallet.
Yeah, there you go.
Apparently, people get so mad about Disneyland puzzles that end up missing a piece that you now can send them a picture and of the piece, and they'll find that piece for you and mail it to you because. But they're similar to what Abel was talking about with the Star Wars puzzle. These they're puzzles and they're $50 or $60, and then you put in the effort to do it, and then you get down, you're missing a piece. I can understand being upset, but it's cool that. Disney, of course, goes over the top with weird customer service things like that.
Because they're Disney.
Yeah, so if you have a Disney or Disneyland puzzle that's missing a piece, there is a way to get that piece. I don't know the link, but you can find it. Use some Googles. So for myself, for number 3, I just kind of incessantly became prepared. What for? I don't fucking know.
Zombie apocalypse.
Anything. Yes, I easily have a month or more of supplies in my fucking house. Enough that I share with all my friends when they're low on anything. And it gave me a large peace of mind to know that, early on, obviously, we had all the weird toilet paper shortages, but no one ever talked about that fact that there was also no canned vegetables, or there was weird things that just kept going out other than just cleaning supplies and everything. And not only for my personal apartment, I was going to say house, but that's bullshit. Anyways, not only for my personal life, but also in my work, building up enough sanitation supplies to keep all my customers' houses safe and all my men safe was very difficult in the beginning. And so, similar to what our country is saying now, I'm ready for COVID-20 and probably even COVID-21 now. So, that being over-prepared helped me.
Did you do this just because of the pandemic, or were you
Yes.
always kind of a prepper?
Actually, I do have a little bit of prepperness.
I have a shit ton of prepperness in me, yo. I'm ready. People think I'm a little crazy.
I also have a lifetime of just being able to improvise that stuff. Like I was an Eagle Scout. My line of work makes me very handy. I'm a good car mechanic. I can, like, me and my friends have plans that if the shit ever really hit the fan, we're going to go take over the entire Poway.
Don't put it out there. Don't
Costco,
put it out there.
Home Depot, and FedEx location.
You ruined your plans, man.
No, you can't
There's
stop.
gasoline there too, which is really important.
Exactly, and you could wall it all off with the FedEx trucks, and then you have a Costco and a Home Depot inside your perimeter.
They're just going to annex Lightning Brewery. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, and there's one of those trampoline places up there too. That's right there. So, but anyway, so being overly prepared really helped my mental state when everything was starting to go a little nuts. And then again, also the second part of that, being able to help my friends and family, that always feels good. And I've always been kind of generous in that way, regardless. But it's always been good to, like, my mom will like text me, I can't find toilet paper, and I just go drop like 24 rolls on her porch, without worrying about whether I have more coming or not, because I do. With some of those staple things, I was able to link up with subscriptions that didn't run out, where a lot of other different services like Amazon and Walmart had a lot of difficulty keeping up with just the regular paper goods. But for whatever reason, the vehicle I was in. So that's what it was for me. Falling back on my Boy Scoutedness and just being massively over-prepared. And, someday I'll get to the bottom of my freezer. We'll see.
Yeah,
But,
I haven't seen the back of my fridge in a long time.
Yeah, there you go. It's very full, very flush,
Yes.
very flush, which is good. Well, and I had I really thought that my line of work was going to take a nosedive at some point. I really thought that at some point construction was going to pause or slow down, and it actually went the complete opposite way. Everybody being trapped at house made their house break, and they needed service. That was a big part of the beginning of the pandemic for us. And then people realized that the pandemic was going to last a lot longer than they had predicted. And they were like, if I got to stay home with my kids, I need an entire other living room over there where I can go. And I'm building nothing but room additions and second stories and just more. I need more room. And also a lot of weird things that I had never built into homes before, like dedicated streaming areas. Like how Brandon's background is all like super professional, and it has nothing to do with streaming. He just has a very nice setup room with collectibles and stuff. And so, like, I'm doing that on purpose, though. We're like purposely designing lighting built into the ceiling and walls and things like that, and like putting little pony walls out in the middle of the room for the desk so that you're facing a wall so you can put all your collectibles behind you instead of having to put up curtains like I'm doing so that your roommates can still get to the fucking kitchen. Like that. So, or sitting in the living room with your laptop on your dining room or your living room table. So, like, a lot of weird things like that. well, not weird, new challenges, new things for that, and then just a never-ending stream of ADUs. And this is this is part of the city of San Diego trying to relieve our housing crisis. They're called accessory dwelling units, but literally they're freestanding or connected apartments or full other residences on your property, whether you're zoned for one property or not. And so that's been a huge boom for us. Like I'm building 7 ADUs currently.
Wow.
And
Brian, one question. I got a question. Have you? I don't know if you and Estella have noticed. I know Brandon doesn't get out much, but have you noticed here in North Park, there's been a lot of renovations on apartments and houses?
Absolutely.
Like, is there like a reason for that? Because so like across the street from where I live, there is like they look like little cottage houses. There's like 4 or 5 of them there.
Yeah.
And now they're completely gutted. So like I'm wondering, do they kick the people out or do they move them? And then it's like, and they're building like patios now, like upper deck patios and extensions to them. And I've been noticing that a lot lately.
So it's threefold. The biggest one is the city of San Diego 3 years ago changed an immense amount of laws to allow higher housing density, specifically in our neighborhood in North Park. They did 3 things that were, to me, kind of crazy, but it started to boom. The first thing was they waived the parking requirement. Yeah. So you used to have to have a parking spot for every bedroom in a house. So if you had a 4-bedroom house, you had to have 4 parking spots. Well, now it's 0.25. So you only need 1 parking spot for every 4 bedrooms. And so what that allowed developers to do was to buy these plots in North Park that have 3 houses on them and put 16 apartments. And that's very profitable on the development side. Right. And so that's one thing. The second thing is what I was just talking about, the new ADU program in San Diego. Like I can turn a garage into a full-on legal rentable unit for you. Now, I mean, that costs $150,000, but it's possible. Right now I'm building a 2-story ADU under this brand new rule, and it's the first time I've ever done this, and it's giving me a heart attack on property line. So one thing about houses is they all have what's called setbacks around them, meaning your house has to your house has to be 6 feet away from your property line, and the house next to you has to be 6 feet away from the property line, so that your house fire doesn't start the next house on fire. Right. Well, they got rid of those rules for the ADU because they realized so many houses are at their maximum setbacks. So you can build 15 linear feet of your ADU in the setback, but it has to be fireproof. So it's very expensive construction, but it's a way to, like, for example, at this home that I'm building currently, it was a way to get a stairway without affecting like the living area. And, no windows, because you can't have a window in a real fireproof wall. But to fireproof the wall, I have to do fireproof drywall and then stucco over it, which is insane to me because, like, stucco is a 1-inch solid concrete. It's not flammable. But, they just you have to go through some extra steps for it. And then the third thing that they did in our neighborhood specifically, so this is North Park, Normal Heights, Uptown, Golden Hills, University City, that whole stripe, is they raised the height limit from 45 feet to 75 feet. And so, the building above Second Chance is 45 feet tall. It's got 3 stories above the retail. Well, now new buildings, similar to Taproom, they're able to go to 6 stories above the retail on the bottom. And obviously, each story is a whole other, level of units. The more units, the more money you can spend on the project, the more money the developer really, in all of these things, really, it was just nice for the developer. Right. Sure, it's great that there's more apartments in our neighborhood, but right now, before we get to our carless future, which is what we're building towards, supposedly, is walking neighborhoods, more public transportation, far less vehicles, but we don't have the public transportation yet. So it's a two-edged sword, and then you couple
all of it. Bike lane, isn't that enough?
Yes, right.
That's all you had to hear about was a bike lane this, bike lane that, bike lane this, bike lane that. It's like that's not the solution.
This is what I'm living. This is what I'm living right now, right outside my house.
They're building the circle right outside of Stella's house, and it's a pain in the butt for both of us. Her more, but I go there
Right.
once a week, and it's a pain in the ass. I can't imagine living there.
Yep.
And the circles on meat are stupid.
Ridiculous.
They
Roundabouts that people don't know how to use. Okay, who doesn't know how to use a roundabout? All the idiots that live around here. All right? I've been using them in Mexico for years, guys, so I know what to do. Anyway, that ends construction talk, guys. We're gonna leave people here.
Let's get into
people here.
Let's get into beer too.
I might have done that minutes ago.
That's totally.
No, I did too.
Abel actually asked for a stout show, and it just wasn't possible with what was in stock at Pine Divide. But classic Sierra Nevada Stout, literally their first beer. So of course, Sierra Nevada is synonymous with pale ale. But this was the actual first beer they brewed and the first beer they marketed. Not exactly like this, but their stout.
I have a question. West Coast style stout. What does
hoppy?
That mean?
All it means is hoppy.
Okay.
And specifically with Cascade hops, which Sierra Nevada really helped bring into prominence. Before Sierra Nevada, there was a couple places that were using it, but it was more old world. The same hops that you would find in a classic lager is what people were using.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is a killer beer and a beer that you could drink 6 of and still walk because it's under 6%.
And their porter's great too. Just nobody gets past pale ale, but those 2 beers are so good. I'm so glad you picked it up. It was just a nice, trip backwards in time.
I hadn't had this in a minute. Yeah.
No, it's very enjoyable. And I mean, this is from sometime in December was when it was bottled. And it's what they, meaning Sierra Nevada, they consider to be kind of on the far side of its shelf stability timeline. Drinking great, no present oxidation, no flaws. Just again, Sierra Nevada just rules, and everything they do is excellent and classic and timeless. And this is just another wonderful example. Cheers to them.
Cheers to them.
I poured it in a glass, but I kind of finished it. So
that's totally okay.
I mean, technically, that bottle's a glass, so you're good.
Yeah, there it is.
Right? Glass, bottle, whatever. As long as it's a vessel that reaches your lips, that's what's matters most.
That is important. That is important.
So, Mr. Hernandez,
yes, sir.
How are the San Diego Beer News Awards going? How is the voting going? Is there like another process? When do we get to find out when people win? What's up?
All the details. It's going incredibly well. It did from day one. The first day we had hundreds of votes. So we have a fan ballot and an industry ballot, and just immediately took off. People have been sharing it, and so people have breweries have been sharing it as well. So we're just seeing hundreds and hundreds of votes. But even so, the last day to vote is tomorrow. And I tell you, I just checked through before the show, and there are actually some ties for first place in a lot of categories, and some where it's separated by 1 vote, 2 votes. So
who is it? Who is it?
Who is it?
So in other words,
it's a couple of San Diego breweries.
Yes.
It's not the flaming,
possibly, but maybe, I don't know. But I will say that a lot of people with voting and stuff like that, you think, there's hundreds. Like I make it seem like it's a big number because it is, but it's pretty incredible that it's so close in so many different categories, and it could shift between today and tomorrow. So I don't even know. I'm not even trying to call them, but it's great to see a lot of smaller breweries getting their play in there too. There's some. It's not just the big guys who you always know, and that's what I like. Is because I kind of feel like San Diego Beer News can speak to a lot of people at any level of whether like beer, they're just getting into it or they really love it. But the people who take the time to vote, I kind of made it an extensive ballot that would take a little time to weed out some of the people who just go on, like, not to call anybody out, but like say a prominent magazine in San Diego where they're just like, I'm just going to vote for whoever this company told me to vote for because I'm a fan, I'm on their mailing list. I wanted it to be kind of, I don't know, an undertaking. And I think it shows off in the results. You'll be like, oh yeah. And then when you see the industry, you'll say, oh yeah, these make complete sense, but they're different. So You will find out in March. I'm going to take time this weekend. It's a working weekend, really digging into all of this and then trying to find out a logical way to get a lot of people within the beer world, from people like, I don't know, podcast show hosts and some other people I know in radio and maybe TV and breweries and big time fans of certain breweries to make the announcement and try to make a nice little some video content to go into. It's not exactly going to be like an award show, but I want to make it as close to something that's special that we can look forward to every year, and just make it more than just like, here's who won, just try to make it something that everybody can be a part of, proud of, just like when they were doing the voting. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'll just see if I can pull it off.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
if not,
can I ask you,
size, go on your way.
Can I ask you this? Do you see the industry ballot being as popular as the regular fan ballot?
I don't, only because there's not as many people in the industry as there are people who drink beer. But definitely, as far as I would say, like the percentage of beer fans who voted and the percentage of industry people who voted, it's pretty neck and neck. It's kind of like the same percentile of those two groups. And
got it.
Pretty neat. And I got to kick out some people from the industry one. Like, you got to be employed by a brewery. You should see the jokers who get on here and like, it's like, I don't know why you took 16 minutes to fill out the ballot, because I can see how long they took. Because it's just like elite. It's like, I told you how it works.
Giggles.
I was gonna say,
No, it'd be like something like
giggles.
RB Red Pants, and he works at my house. Like, company name, my house. Like, you just wasted a whole bunch of time, brother. I'm sorry, you're out.
At least make up a brewery name.
Seriously, Yeah. We have to put the email address there so I can kind of verify it. I know enough people in this industry that can figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that some people have maybe accidentally voted for their own brewery. We'll figure it out. But when they didn't, I'll count those. And when they did, I'll knock out that particular vote.
I purposely didn't do that, and I was like, oh God.
And now Mujeres is losing by one vote.
I purposely did not vote for Mujeres, even though it's not Mujeres, it's a collaboration beer that we made that y'all should vote for. But anyway, I was just like, no, I'm not going to vote for that one.
I couldn't vote for it either.
So, yeah.
70% on that one. I couldn't vote for it either. I did my own vote. Felt painful to put it in the fan vote. But, not industry. I'm not industry anymore. So,
who'd you vote for best bartender?
Me, I'm going to be there for a day, and I thought that it was just fit in. It's fun to see that category. The Larry Smith category for the best service has been really fun too. And I don't know, it's just, I love data and I love analysis. So even aside from the awards component, I just like to dig into all of this and look at what people are thinking and saying, and it's really, really interesting. It was during the fan nominations too, just to see how many people just get out there and they're like, whoa, some of these breweries are really popular and they're not exactly who you might have thought. And I don't know, it's going to be very telling from that standpoint as well. Yeah.
So are the winners going to get some kind of like a little certificate or something, just so I can start making room? I'm just asking.
Exactly.
They're going to all get a Tom Brady jersey.
I'm just asking.
That's expensive, Abel. But since it's all very, very virtual, I figured I would go with a virtual type of prize. So what we're going to do is like send them a PDF that they can print up of their own, and then I'm going to go ahead and get some like gold foil, silver foil type stickers made up of the logo that they can stick on there for whatever they want. I'll send that out to them. So they can have something that they can frame and put up in the tasting room, or even if they don't use a certificate, they can get the sticker and stick it on their cold box or something, just to commemorate it. And of course, it'll always be on the website too. So we'll see what's going on. But eventually, for certain prizes like Best Brewery in a Region and Larry Smith's Best Service Award, I want to have an actual plaque, or in particular for the customer service, to have some kind of trophy that will stand out like in the back bar. And they hold it for that year, and very Stanley Cup-ish. It goes to the next brewery and all that. We have grander plans that will require a greater level of sponsorship, I would think, too. But, we're just starting out. I think it'll be a lot of fun, especially if we're starting out in a pandemic. We'll get them something. But I think as with so many things these days, social media, what you see on social media and the recognition they will get there, I really look forward to people just like they did with nominations, getting out there, tagging the brewery and saying, way to go. Burning Beer, way to go, Pure Project, Lost Abbey, Three Punks, whoever it might be. And I think people get so much gratification out of that these days, but that'll be the big thing. But then for the lasting thing, they can have their certificate. And
Okay.
talk about how San Diego Beer News is so cheap. Just kidding.
As someone who runs a contest that has, at least in the past, been the first 4 or 5 years myself, and then the last 2 or 3 years with sponsors. Sponsors are awesome when you've got to outlay a couple grand for a contest. So I hope they come through for you. But
Yakima Chiefs Hops has been great. I should say they were on board from the second that I pitched it to them. They said, "Oh," I was like, "I want to bring something positive to start the year, especially in a slow time for beer." Because some people do dry January. I don't think this year, maybe, but there was so many down things. It was like, let's get something that not only the fans can do to make the breweries feel good, but the breweries can participate in and have just a little fun. It's not like it's GABF, right? So it's like there's bragging rights involved, and that's really great. But they know that people appreciate them, and they just see that on a daily basis throughout a 2-month period. That was my big goal, and so Kelly over there was just like, that sounds great. That's what we need. Count us in. Let's figure out what we can do. And it was just easy. And so I agree with you. Sponsors can be very, very good, especially when they're coming from an authentic place. Like, everybody in town knows Kelly and Yakima Chiefs. And so that's why I went to her in the first place. I'm like, I think this will fit with you. You're nice.
Yes, I'm nice. You're nice.
Sweetest. She's the sweetest.
And we're not going to see her very much anymore.
Yeah, you guys heard about it, right? She's moving on, or she's moving up.
She's moving up. She's still with Yakima Chief, but now Abby's going to be filling that position. If anybody knows Abby, a lot of people do. I mean, over a decade in the industry, I think. So it's going to be different.
Oh, nice. That's a pretty good fit. Good job, Abby. Cool.
Yeah, she knows a few people in the industry.
1 or 2.
A few. Yeah.
So before we get into a fun question, let's catch up with the side. Yes, Dawn of the Dead. Also, their zombies were super fast, very scary.
Don't like those, and those were smart zombies too.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't like
Didn't
like that at all. No thanks.
Beer is essential, Jason. We totally agree with that. Hello, Candace. Thank you for showing up. Oh, I missed something from Rudy. Rudy hasn't had a beer in a month. Congrats, dude. So you did.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you did dry January or just in general forgot to drink, but that's cool. Whatever. Link me to the undertaking. Are you talking about the voting, Rudy? If so, it's San Diego Beer.
Actually,
San Diego.
He has a shorter link.
News.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
go to San Diego Beer.news, and there's this nice little banner out there. You can just click right on there. Get you there. But, or you can go to bit.ly/SDBNAFAN.
That too.
Play that back.
Yes, exactly.
Did you write that down, Rudy? Did you write it down? Good.
All lowercase. All lowercase.
Yes, Maggie, great. Get people to vote. Bartender. Yes, online checkout. Definitely saved the day for many freaking places. But that's great, Rudy. It's awesome. Okay, serious question, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
What does it feel like when a team you have rooted for your whole life finally wins a champion? I have no idea. I've only rooted for San Diego teams my whole life. I don't know what this feels like.
The Sockers, hello.
I've rooted for real San Diego teams my whole life. But
my first sporting events were soccer games. Soccer games. I freaking love the Sockers, and they were good.
So much fun.
They're kind of like the Gulls. It's like they're great too, but they're under the radar. It's freaking great. I mean, it's like,
yes.
Especially because a lot of people would give me a lot of guff because I was always a Charger fan just by default because I live here, right? Like they're not like the Padres. The Padres, I really, really, really like and follow the Padres. The Chargers were here, and I'm like, 94 was fun, but everybody would always just bag on me like, you're only supposed to support the Chargers. I'm like, well, why? Because I just live here. Like, so I found my own teams to follow for stupid reasons on both counts, but it's pretty rad when they put it all together and you can see what something like that can happen. It was really, really fun and so unexpected. Like I really thought the Chiefs had the upper hand. I'm really glad those 2 offensive linemen were out, but all in all, it was just a really good. The defense came alive, and I'm a big defense fan. I like to see a defense just completely shut down an offense, and even without shutting down Mahomes, they still shut down that offense, and it was really fun to watch. So
hey, defense wins games, man. Defense wins games.
I thought it was going to be a closer game.
Yeah.
So and I'm just going to say it. I'm a big fan of The Weeknd, but that halftime show sucked. Like
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was awful.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of people saying that, and now I'm not a big fan of The Weeknd.
I am.
So what were the sucky points? What's everyone point at and say that was particularly sucky?
So my was the audio. Mine was the audio because I'm an audio guy. The audio was really low, but I didn't think it sucked. I just like the audio was low. It wasn't on point. It was kind of like off a bit.
For me, it was when he came out to when he left. That's the part that's.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it. And like I said, I'm a fan of The Weeknd. I do really enjoy his music. I knew all the songs, but it's the friggin' Super Bowl. You need to bring more than guys with masks and
there were 15 million car crash victims on the field.
You know what I mean? Like you could have had a guest or two or something. That
was weird. No guest.
I don't think they were allowed to because of the pandemic. I don't think he was allowed to bring anybody else on the show with him.
They could have been very easily more than 6 feet apart. Like
I like the choir. The choir was like a guest.
Again, all the guys on the field with the
yeah.
I didn't know anything about The Weeknd. I had never heard a single song of his that I could recognize. I'm not really a follower.
His name is Abel.
Thank you. Of modern pop music, but
Weeknd.
Yeah, that's right. No second E. But I did have one thought about 3/4 through, which was it felt like a pretty good halftime show in this one manner. It was adequate and not controversial, and I think the NFL kind of needed that this year. After last year, they had a lot of flack from the J-Lo and Shakira halftime show. They didn't deserve it, but that's a different story.
About Shakira and J-Lo, I mean, J-Lo hardly ever wears any clothes. What did they expect was going to happen?
And
it was about the caged children, but the government put them in cages first. Yeah. So why are they mad at J-Lo? I mean, for real. That's the crime.
So I mean,
I'm just gonna say, can we bring Metallica next year?
Something.
No, I don't want that.
Somebody like
the Super Bowl is in Inglewood next year, so LA. So it will probably be like Snoop Dogg or Drake.
Freshly recovered Dr. Dre.
Like we talked about. Like we talked about with Brian from Pariah, they're never going to surpass Prince in the Rain, but at least I think we have come to expect some kind of shock value, some kind of standout performance from the Super Bowl, and this one wasn't that for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree there.
I was about to say the Foo Fighters, and Maggie just said the Foo Fighters. That's a great one for next year. Like honestly, we need to bring some more rock back into this because it's just
they're on the verge of going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I think if they make it, it'd probably be great to bring them on.
Would be nice. There's also been like a 5-year campaign for AC/DC, like a fan campaigin.
Yeah.
That would be. Of course.
I would let them outside the home these days.
Right. Exactly. I would just like to see some performers that are used to performing in an arena environment.
Yeah.
I think that would be beneficial.
So I think all of us go to a lot of concerts or used to be able to go to a lot of concerts, and Foo Fighters was one of the best performances I've ever seen. Like they leave it all out there. They're just there to perform and they just fucking perform. So I really
mix in a Nirvana cover. That'd be kind of fun. I mean, get somebody on the drums and just throw one of those in too.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Have a Kurt Cobain hologram? Yeah.
Super Bochella.
I personally don't think there was anything wrong with any aspect of the Super Bowl. So what can I say?
Well, It's
Well,
easy.
That's
It's easy when your team wins. Yes.
He didn't even look at the
Bucks to say
halftime show.
they like to win one and then not get close for nearly 2 decades. So it
Yes.
feels like they've never been to one. It's great. And then
Yes.
they win again. So in like 17 or 18 years, I'll see you guys then.
That's rad.
So on that note, I mean, how do you feel for next year? Because Brady says he's going to come back and do it again. Do you really think that can happen?
I think it'd be cool if in free agency they can pick up a couple of people, because they might lose some. I don't know, but I think they have he didn't look slow.
No.
I think they have a decent shot. Defense is all young, so they
Well, I
can
like
conceivably
that
stay.
everybody that scored a touchdown was only there because of Brady.
Yeah, right.
Everybody scored a touchdown in that game was all there because of
Gronk
Brady.
and Brown.
Yeah.
Gronk,
Yeah.
Brown, Fournette, they all came there because Brady was there.
That reminded me of how LeBron has built teams over and over in Miami, and just get people to come play with them. I don't really like that overall, but
It
at least for once it benefited me.
Yes, exactly. I hope that in October we're talking about this all again, about how awesome it was when Tatis hit the game-winning home run in the 6th game of the World Series.
I am so excited about baseball.
I can't believe pitchers and catchers are reporting soon.
Hey, our beer show just turned into sports, but
yeah, it does happen. But
it's like the news. It's like the news. We have little segments. I mean, we got the weather next.
Construction,
I told
sports,
you guys,
weather.
Yeah, we're kind of everything. When I was in Vegas a few weeks ago, I did bet on the Padres.
Ooh, to go to the World Series?
They have to win the National League. That was the only bet I could place. That was the only, I was gonna do just division that wasn't available yet, and I was like, okay, what can I bet? And this was before they got some more key players.
Before they got Snell and Darvish.
400 to 1 is what I got.
Really?
Yeah.
If that hit, that's a good win. That's a good win.
So I was at that new hotel, Circa, with the big stadium pool thing, and they have a beautiful bar, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go and see what the odds are. Here's a whole $20. What can I bet? No big deal. That $20 is gone. But
that's half a cocktail in Vegas.
Right? That's awesome.
I kept playing, so they were free.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Reinvest. I like it.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
So last March, when we recorded our March Madness show, and still at the time had no idea that within 2 days that they were going to shut down all of society. Then we found out, obviously COVID. Now we are here, literally we were shut down for a year. And so if you knew then that it was going to last a year, what would you have done differently? Abel?
No idea.
That's fine answer. That's fine answer.
Fine.
Well,
it's a good question.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to really ask a real question, but I'll go first then. So for me, I would have rearranged my house so I didn't have to have curtains here, so that my wife and roommates could get to the kitchen while I'm, talking to all my friends out there in the world of the beer world. I would have spun my air quotes office, which is my dining room, 90 degrees or something. I would have, and just that type of stuff. I would have been better prepared for the changing our show over to live streaming, and it took me a good 3 months to even get us headphones or headsets because we couldn't find them. So at the beginning, our audio sucked real bad. Guests would just call us from their open tasting rooms, and then that kind of we learned how to manage the guest as well to get a better audio experience.
Well, we also got all those virtual tours.
Yeah.
Yes, we did get a few walk arounds,
the behind the scenes tours.
The first one being 5 suits, but he started a whole trend. So for me, I would have just rearranged some stuff that would have and been better prepared for live streaming from my house. What about you, Mr. Hernandez?
Invested in aluminum.
Yeah, right. Bought a little GameStop.
Yeah.
Right. But in all seriousness, I would have started Sandy Beer News sooner. I wouldn't have. Well, I liked writing a novel in 3 months. That was fun. If I had known how gratifying it would be, and you know, and this is like, I knew I loved writing about beer, but when I started doing it to start the site, and I was just doing it for free, and I still essentially am doing it for free, and that, you know, the money I make doing it goes back into expenses and things that need to be done for now. You know, it's like any business; you got to wait a little bit before you make any profit. It just, it brought back to life something inside me I didn't have for 3 months, and showed me just how much I really do love writing about beer, even if it's for no money. Like, you know, a lot of people, it's easy when you're writing for a long time to get caught up in like, well, I need to make this much at it to make it worth it and all that. But really, just telling the stories feels so good, and to be in touch with all these people feels so good. Drinking the beer, of course, feels great.
Yeah.
And I would have started sooner, and I'd be even 3 months further down this path. But it's going great, and I would have started sooner if I'd known how great it would be, and how fun it would be, and how just pleasing to my soul it would be.
That was well said, sir. What about you, Estella?
I've actually gotten back in touch with a lot of people that I didn't talk to before, because I have the time now. So I think I would have done that sooner. I have lost a couple of people that I wish I would have reached out to sooner. So that's just something that, like, you know, I regret. So that's one thing, like, just friends from high school and, you know, shit like that. Just family in Mexico that, you know, I just could have picked up the phone and called them, and I didn't. So that's what I would have done. So yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry to drag you guys down.
Very, no, but
Real talk.
Exactly. I was gonna say, is an honest answer is always the best answer. That's great. Okay, so we are up to number 2.
Yeah,
Are we gonna make Abel answer? He said, "Did you come up with an answer, sir?"
yeah. Like, do you have a different answer now, Abel?
Well, after that sad note,
Right? You want to follow that? Happiness.
to make it a little bit more livelier, I would have traveled more. If I would have known, I would have like, because there was a lot of trips I had in mind for 2020. You know, a trip was going to, you know, taking my first cruise. I was going to take my first 7-day cruise down to Mexico. Never been on a boat other than, like, you know, the Bay Area here in San Diego, but never been on an actual cruise. I had talks about going to Australia or Ireland in 2020. And even Hawaii, but it was one of those things. Like, I mean, yeah, if I would have known, I would have thrown all of that into 2019. But then that would have been hard because that's when I got let go at 91X and was kind of jobless. So, so it was kind of, you know, but yeah, that's what I would have done more. I was wouldn't travel. And then, you know, even travel here in the States. I don't really get to go out too much out of San Diego just because I'm always busy. You know, I got a kid, I stay here. So it's like, you know, I still never been in New York. You know, I'd love to go, you know, to there in that city. I've heard it's lovely. I heard it's beautiful, and they throw pizza at you. It's fucking awesome. So,
yeah, as long as you can catch the pizza, it's fun.
I like that. Traveling would have been mine. So
what I've only been to New York once, and we took a train from New Jersey. Yay. But we walked from the main train station like 6 miles into Central Park and back, and it was really impressive as like a city. I mean, it's nothing unless you feel it. It's totally different than normal. Times Square is fucking rad. I mean, there's no way to describe it. I wouldn't want to be there for New Year's Eve when you can't move.
Hell no.
But like one thing that cracked me up when day's over, we've seen everything in Times in or a lot of stuff in Central Park, the zoo and shit like that, and we're walking back. My niece and nephew, which are like 17 and 16 at the time, they kept saying, "Dude, let's get a cab, let's call an Uber, whatever." I'm not kidding. The cabs weren't moving. We're walking next to the street. The cabs are dead stopped.
Right.
We were out walking all traffic 3-1 in distance. And I'm like, no, we're not going to. What, so we can.
All about the subway homes?
Yeah. I learned the subway super quick when I was in New York. But I did do one weird thing. I'm a big Law and Order fan. So when we were in Central Park, and I saw one of those bridges. I was like, "Come here, Nicole. I'm gonna lay down on the floor like I'm dead, and you're gonna take a picture." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm a victim in Law and Order. I'm dead." And she's
Oh
like,
my God.
"How are you my best friend?" Just do it.
That's really
There's
awesome.
clear signs of sexual assault after the murder.
Dun dun.
Hoping a stranger comes up or something. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I'm
right.
weird. I'm weird.
I love
know.
that stupid show. And there's going to be a new one with Stabler. There's a spin-off coming soon. So if
Yes,
you're a
there
fan of
is.
that
Pretty
whole
cool.
series, pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings us to number 2 then. And no, we just finished all that.
No, what have we been doing to get through the pandemic, number 2?
Yes, exactly. Our second main area of things that we have done to cope with the overall mental pressure of being in isolation and trying to keep ourselves safe from pandemic. Let's start with Abel.
So you guys know that I'm into music. I have over about 250 to 300 records, and I've been living in a
Most
bunch.
pizzas eaten.
Yes. And so I've been living in a bunch of different spots, so I never had a chance to get my records out of storage unit. So I finally got them out of storage during COVID. I brought them to the house. I've been cleaning them up, re-listening to all my albums that I have, and it's been fun. I've been putting them in alphabetical order, kind of like, and I'm listening to them, every one. My roommate probably hates it by now, but it's been great for me. It's a good mental thing because, again, I love music. Music is one of those things. My mom was blind. So she can see much. So the house is always filled with music growing up. Yeah.
Aww.
So it was always some kind of, she was a big Motown girl. So I have a bunch of Temptation records. I have Four Tops, Gladys Knight. I have, my mom's favorite artist was Tina Turner. So I have a lot of the Tina Turner and Ike albums. And then my dad was in the Navy. So he would get a lot of these albums in he was in Vietnam. So when he was over in Vietnam, he would get a lot of these albums. So I have all these Four Tops, Vietnam album.
The Vietnam release?
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's all in Vietnamese. The music's
wow.
still the same, but everything written on it is in Vietnamese. And then the records would be orange or red or yellow. They wouldn't be the black, albums. So it was pretty cool. It's cool to go back through that again and go through those records and 45s and just kind of re-listen and have fun. I mean, it's just kind of brought me back to my youth of being with my family on a Sunday cleaning house while we played records.
Aw,
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
That's cool.
And really neat that you have a bunch of foreign version of albums. I didn't know that there. I mean, of course, I knew recently people were making vinyl out of all kinds of weird, different colors, but I had no idea that in the 70s they were doing that just in other places. That's right.
Yeah, I think it was I think back in the days the colored albums were for international. And the black album, black vinyls were in the States, and then if you got an album in again Vietnamese or Japan or England, in certain cities or certain province, they were only colored.
That's cool.
Oh.
So yeah,
you learned something.
Yeah.
Estella, number 2 for you, sir, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. So,
Just fucking stab me down.
April, I didn't know you had that many records. I have a bunch of records. I should give them to you. I have
yes,
a Madonna one that's blue because it was
your hair,
a blue. The song was called Blue something. I don't know. And then I have a Prince one that is purple. Yeah.
Oh, there you
Of
go.
course, Princess is purple.
Yeah.
That I'm not surprised by.
And the Selena one is purple too, but that's a different story. So, honestly, guys, I drank less. That just kind of helped me out because I wasn't going out at all. Obviously, I wasn't drinking, and I have a lot of beer here, but I just kind of decided I'm not going to drink as much, and I've been giving away a lot of my beer. So my coworkers love me, which is why I get the days off that I need, and if I need to leave early, I make sure to take 4-pack that day, 6-pack that day, whatever it is.
I need to leave an hour early. You can't.
Yeah,
How
tomorrow
about
I
now?
need to leave. Yeah, tomorrow I need to leave early, so I'm walking in there with beer. But yeah, honestly, it kind of helped me because I noticed I was gaining a little bit of weight, and I was just like, let's just not drink as much. So I was drinking only usually Thursdays. Now I have been drinking every now and then, but not like I used to. So that helped me a lot. So yeah.
Excellent. That's right. Mr. Hernandez.
Mine is the opposite. So,
Mine too, but go ahead, sir.
so me and my wife. Let me go backtrack. So I think we've all struggled with kind of like, maybe with the exception of people who are working a 9 to 5. Okay, but for some people who are like working at home or dealing with this new normal, where the days kind of blur. Like, well, Monday doesn't feel like Monday because I didn't go to work, or like Friday, is it really Friday if I can't go out and party and do fun stuff. So one thing my wife and I do every Friday is we do Farmhouse and Flatbread Friday.
Flatbread Friday.
We make pizza from scratch, and I drink Farmhouse ales, and she drinks whatever the hell she wants because she doesn't like saisons.
It's okay to be wrong.
And we just let go and have a nice time. Sometimes drink too much, definitely always eat too much, and we like find something to watch on TV together. But it's just like, okay, this is the end of the week, the start of the weekend, and it just really helps us to know where we're at in the week and then change from whatever it is. Because when you work at home, it's real hard to turn it off. And I'm guilty of working on the weekends all the time.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have something to say, okay, look, it's like smack in the face with a pepperoni and say, okay, look, at least try to turn it off. For tonight, we're not doing shit. We're just having fun and enjoying life like we can in this moment. And it's just so fun and it's delicious. Oh my God. I've had so many good like farmhouse ales and just great pizza. So yeah, good stuff for Farmhouse and Flatbread Friday.
There you go.
Alliteration.
That's awesome, man. So I would say my drinking has stayed the same. It's been the same as always been for me. Heavier Friday through
but more
Sunday.
At home now. More at home.
More at home.
All at home. All at home now.
Yeah, and I've gotten through, I think now 4 boxes of closet beers. So that's been neat. Is to get some of the
clearing stuff out.
Refresh my inventory. Let's say.
All right.
I your Untapped presence. It's really fun to watch.
It's weird. I didn't use that app for a couple years, but when I pull a beer out that's 5 years old from my closet, I feel like kind of obliged to check into it. So,
could you imagine the badges you would have if you?
The first 2,000 beers that I checked into Untapped, I took it serious. Like, I've never had this beer, I must check in. But when you do that more than 2,000 times, it starts to lose its luster. And then, also, I was also that asshole that, we're out with friends and I'm the dickhead like this, so, I kind of backed off of that, but, with closet beers or when I'm home in general, of course, I'll look at it. But what I actually wrote down for number 2 is I have been really stoned. And, I've always been
unlike you.
I know, right? I've always been a stoner, but I like ratchet up a little bit. So,
well, that explains a lot of text, Brian.
Yes, right. That's why sometimes the buttons stick and you get 6 eyes. I'm sorry, like I said, I've never made it a secret that I smoke.
You do.
I have I've definitely a little extra THC intake, a lot more edibles to help me sleep because I am mentally fried from work. Just right now, it's just been the responsibility of keeping so many people safe and so many clients safe on top of my normal job duties. It weighs on you. It just does. And I'm the COVID police at work, and I'm constantly yelling at people to put on masks or re-sanitize things, re-sanitize equipment, spaces, people's homes. Multiple times we have had scares where subcontractors have turned up positive, and we've had to, I call it fumigate, but it's not really that. We're bringing our cleaner with the electrostatic disinfectant guns and disinfect people's houses, and then there's this whole other thing that's going on where the entire manufacturing and distribution system of our country broke. It wasn't just toilet paper that's backed up. Normal things like entry doors take 13, 14 weeks to get now. I'm ordering windows before I start digging for the foundation of a new house. It's very strange. There's a lot of difficult things that go along with all that. But what that led to was sometimes I have to shut my brain off, and that is, and I lean on that probably too much, a little bit, at least if we're being really honest. But it has
No
helped.
judgment.
No,
judgment.
I'm like,
Well,
no.
We're being really honest. I'm high as fuck right now.
But what I like about it is when I lean on that heavily, I wake up with a clear mind every day that I need to do my job. If you lean on alcohol too hard, you have the ramifications hurt when you're at least my age, when you're over 47.
Like,
you can't have a couple extra scotches and be okay. I wish I could, but
I like that, over 47. So specific.
Well, yes. Sorry.
that was the year. It just like all the tolerance just went.
Yes. When you're 46, drink all night. 47, you better watch it.
Ooh, I got 3 more years.
downhill.
That's been a mental coping technique of mine. Try to turn my brain off. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
You have to do that.
And it's beautiful when it does. And the bigger thing is, if I time an edible right to that it hits me right when I fall asleep, I will stay asleep. And that's where I suffer. Like my mental anxiety or whatever screws me up. Like I'll fall asleep fine, but then I'll wake up at 2:00 in the morning, and then and then I can't go back to sleep. Ugh, yuck. Anyways, let's talk about beer again, and let's get into what we drank. And I'm going to go first. I during this whole prelim and every year, STS Pills from Russian River, still had it in the fridge from when they were on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
God damn, that beer is good, and I don't think I need to say anything else about it. It's just perfect. It hits all the notes that you expect from a Pilsner. Easy, crushable, delightful, and as what did Vinny call it? Total packaged oxygen, TPO, very, very, very low. This is the type of beer that you would taste any oxidation or anything off in it, and there's not one iota of that. So, thank you. Abel, what did you drink last, sir?
I had the Self-Righteous Black IPA.
Oh yes, I have one.
Yes, it was a celebration drink for my roommate birthday. That was just a previous pass.
Yeah,
and happy birthday, lady!
Happy birthday, Daniel.
So we popped open that bottle and we drank a lot that night because we also went to some other. We went to a Bali High and we had some Mai Tais and some zombies. At least I had some zombies. It got to a point where I woke up about 4 or 5 o'clock. It was still fully like clothed, like I still had my hoodie on, my jeans in bed, and I told her, I said I don't remember passing out, and she asked me if I remember throwing up, and I said no, and so
party.
So yes, so for her birthday I got shit-faced drunk. So
nice, well done.
There you go.
That was
all right.
So that was the last thing I drank.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Estella.
I drank Brave the Haze.
Oh yeah, from Embolden.
Embolden. I'm still drinking it right now, actually. But yeah, that's what I've been drinking, and delightful, you guys. It's delicious. It's just hits all the right notes. If you have not been to Embolden, please go because boys are killing it. So,
good sparkling teas too.
I've had a couple.
Okay.
I've had a couple more of their beers since we had them on the show, and yeah, they're kicking butt for a new brewery for sure.
Yeah,
Brandon,
I had an easy drinking 14% Imperial Stout. It was one of our previous recent guests, Michaela Brewing San Diego. Their Trebla, the Imperial Maple and Coffee Stout. It had been aged in bourbon barrels. This is the blueberry waffle edition, so it had blueberries and cinnamon as well. I drank it mostly as like a dare to myself because I'm like, I don't know, would this really work out? It was pretty good. I mean, like it actually delivered on the promise without being assertively fruity. Like there wasn't this big berry flavor. Everything was kind of in balance. Didn't get the cinnamon as much, but just the nice the nice oakiness was still there, and the maple is probably the most pronounced flavor, but I guess you want that with the blueberry waffle edition. So
Was it super
yeah,
sweet or was it like
it was sweet, but not super sweet, which I
like
appreciated.
it'd be great on top of ice cream? Good or
Yeah. It wouldn't. I mean, yeah, it could do that because the ice cream would already be sweet, and it wouldn't take it too far into that territory. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun. It'd actually be kind of fun to bring it to a simmer, and then do like this ice creamy thing. I think it could even be like a little warm or at least room temperature. But
Babinos, get on that. Babino, get on that.
but it was definitely one of the more like current, interesting avant-garde beers for somebody like me who tends to kind of like toe the old school line to some degree. And I enjoyed it. It was really fun. It was fun to get out of my box.
Oh,
That's awesome.
And go to the IHOP.
And without leaving the bottle. Speaking of the Bobinos, let's catch up with the board over here. Awesome, Rudy. All we need to do is bring Nature Own Means back to back lead up. It's going to be tough to take down the Dodgers, but I certainly hope we do it. I hope. So we basically
a good pitching battle. It's going to be a very good pitching battle. We've got
a 3-game series. The second to last series before the end of the season with them, and hopefully like we did in '97, we walk up there and we sweep them to take the division title and walk into the playoffs. With sticking with the old playoff formula, going back to the normal playoff formula this year. I don't want us to end up in a 1-game playoff from getting a wild card. So
yeah. If we do go back to normal where we can watch games, we really do need to do a suite for
holy crap.
Yeah.
The Indie Beer Show. Just
us
and the fans.
No, just us four.
Yes, right. That's good.
We'll use the Patreon money.
Yes, right. Yeah, right. Can we add a couple zeros?
For the Patreons? Yeah. I think they would approve. That would be fun.
We're gonna need like 500 patrons for that to happen.
Yeah.
We'll start out down at Ale Tales.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we'll walk over to our suite in
you guys
Petco
remember we had that pre-party planned for opening day?
It was going to be right after.
Do you remember 2019?
Yes, it was going to be nice. I agree. Like, if of course, obviously, if you had money and you could go back to 2019, these are some good stock investment suggestions. Rudy had to go a pro milling company too, is rad. Okay, well, first off, thank you for joining us, especially since you don't drink craft beer and you're listening to Neutral Milk. That is actually a really solid album.
Abel, what is that? I don't know what that is. Explain.
I'm glad you said it first.
It's an album. It says right there, it's an album.
But it's hit music. I don't understand.
Wait, is that the group? Is that the album? Like, what
I don't know. That one's out of my. It's out of my hands.
Neutral Milk Hotel is the band.
Yes, Neutral Milk Hotel is the band. Anyways.
So I have no idea who that is.
That's fine.
Okay.
for
I'm
me,
like, Abel, explain.
they were the band that was supposed to beat Red Hot Chili Peppers, but they lost.
Okay. All right.
I'm joking. I have no fucking idea.
Neutral Milk. Okay, got it.
He's high. You know what? Right now,
I'm high.
I'm high as fuck right now. For me personally, I have been sticking with classic power metal, and I mean like Corrosion of Conformity, early Tool, very early Metallica, very early Primus. I don't know why. That's the music I want to listen to currently, is things that were like in the mid to late 90s that for whatever reason stuck in my brain, and even some what is it, Cohib in Cambria, the freaking offshoot, but super hard power riffs and a little bit of machine too. That's what's good. That's what
I'm
making
right there.
me.
I'm right there.
That's totally
I'm
what
like
you're into.
Selena, Sonora Dinamita, Banda Machos.
Same thing.
That's what I got.
Same thing.
John Tess, Kenny G. Yeah.
Hugs to you, Estella.
Thank you, Rudy.
Sorry that you have lost some friends, but good that you are reaching out to ones that you missed. Okay,
New York. New York has Ninja Turtles.
Yes, New York has Ninja Turtles. I saw Spider-Man. Oh well, okay. I saw Espidra Hombre. I mean, it definitely wasn't actually.
Hombre Araña.
Can you please skip to Jason's comment? It's too good. It's too good.
Which one?
He said over 47. Bryant meant
1947.
Oh,
The Bobinos have been playing Pokemon Go. So do the other two people that live in my house that I never talk about. Jason's a music teacher, so that's great. Good for you, Rudy. I think really just being self-conscious is what's really important right now is being able to identify what's going on with your own life and making sure that you're making choices that are healthy for you and your mental well-being. Sometimes a choice that feels healthy for your mental well-being at the moment really isn't. So just pay attention to yourself and do it. But I agree. So why this is hitting me currently very funny is lately because of my beard, I've been getting the accidental senior discount, and it cracks me the fuck up. I
got a ways to go.
Yeah. Yes. First time it happened was,
you can't even get a discount on the early morning coffee, bro.
Yeah, dude.
the first time it happened to me, it was at Jack in the Box. So I grabbing a breakfast jack or whatever, some breakfasty thing from Jack in the Box, and the lady goes, "Oh, and I gave you your discount," and I'm driving it away. And I'm like, "What discount?" And then I look at my receipt. I'm like, "Holy shit!" But then the other time, I was a total dick, and I didn't even know I was really doing this. But I was. It was in the early part of the pandemic when I was literally, I would go out for 5 or 6 hours hunting sanitation supplies for my day job. And this one day, I'm walking into Costco La Mesa, and there's this whole big line of people way over there on the left, and there's no one.
The senior citizens in the morning.
There's no one around. I walk right in the door. No one said fucking shit to me. I'm in the aisle, and this other lady looks at me and goes, "Isn't senior hour great?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I went in at 65 and older, and nobody said anything to me.
All you said was, "Get out of my way, Sonny."
They let them in an hour early.
Yeah, so if you're 65 or older, then now that this is all off, but at the early stages of the pandemic, when supplies were very, very low, and there was people that were trying to hoard supplies, and Costco started limiting to you could only buy one thing of toilet paper at a time. They started
3 tubs of Metamucil.
Yeah, exactly, right. So there you go. I do look old.
No wonder you had so much supplies to give to everybody.
Right?
You were there for everybody else.
None of the supplies I shared with people were from taking advantage of senior hour. All I bought was some Clorox wipes. Let's be clear.
Wow.
That's
so
rad.
You didn't turn around and leave. I got it.
No, I was already in there. But it would have only been good for me if I left. I've heard a lot of feedback about sugar cookies from Savage Wood as it's kind of a pastry triple IPA somewhere in that area. But what did you think, Bob? I know you can tell us later.
Yeah, and what percent was that, Maddie?
I think it was 12. But Robert from 13 Point, hello, sir. I hope you mean that you're in for the Padres suite.
Padres suite.
Padres. Yes, please. Padres suite for sure. Skybox level on Patreon. Yeah, right? That's going to be a little more than $12 a month. I'll tell you that. And that's wait a minute. Why was Amy at a Metallica concert when she was 12? That's my biggest question.
I'm gonna say that concert was probably at Qualcomm
with Guns N' Roses.
Because I was there for that show.
And what was the Cop Killer band that Ice-T had? They opened. And
blood something. There were blood.
And I just remember that they all kept saying that the police were on the stage, and if he actually sung "Cop Killer," they were going to arrest him. It was at that phase of that in that concert. They also accidentally
body count.
Body count. There you go. Right.
Yes,
I was there too, obviously.
Nice pull, Brandon.
Also, that was the concert where James with some pyro, accidentally lit the
Burnt-
banners, 10-story banners on
Burned
fire,
itself,
and burned the crap out of his hand. And then he
she
ended
said
up
it was Brownfield.
so totally different one for her. So
Oh, really?
Oh, shit,
but it was definitely
Brownfield.
it was that. So Brownfield is what became Coors Amphitheater, which is now something else now. All very similar location. The same.
Robert was at the same concert I was at.
The same people that ran the Brownfield and Otay Mesa ended up starting Coors Field or Coors Amphitheater, which is totally different. And yes,
was it Chula Vista Amphitheater? Then went to
Coors
Amphitheater, and then Sleep Train.
Sleep Train. Now it's
Mattress.
Mattress Firm.
Which was funny when they changed it to Mattress Firm. I'm like, ooh, that's an MF Amphitheater. Well, the MF Amphitheater.
Unfortunately, one of the worst locations to try to get into or out of for a concert.
Jesus, yes.
Brutal. The roads in and out suck.
I was always surprised that somebody didn't open up a bar or like a brewery right there in that area to like. You get so much business when the shows are going on.
It was Cricket Amphitheater at one point too.
At one place, Mad Labs tried to do that, but they were sucked.
Yeah. Let's talk about our third beer that I think we're all halfway through. It's Spicy Maya from Thorn Street, or I guess just Thorn beer currently. So they did a chocolate series with
Chihuahua.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say I'm going to mispronounce it, but this particular one is their spicy chocolate. It's pasilla peppers and cocoa nibs, and a very, very enjoyable drink to me. A tiny bit spicy, so if you're afraid of spicy beers, maybe take this one with a little bit of caution.
Yeah,
but it's not spicy.
The spicy you don't get so much at the beginning, but it kind of sits and it just kind of lingers a little bit. You get it more after. So if you just wait a minute, you'll feel it after. But I don't think it's spicy. I think it's good. I think it's a really good beer. Yeah, and I did go try to buy the chocolate today because I wanted to have it together, and the Whole Foods was sold out, which is where they supposedly have it. But they are doing a whole series with these with this chocolate company, so they are going to have a few more beers coming out that highlight the different flavors of the chocolate. So,
and Chihuahua's for a long time been kind of like the premier San Diego County chocolatier with a lot of Hispanic roots as well. So. I think like the cinnamon and the chili like hit you in the back of the throat. That's where I feel it.
Yeah.
It's spicy-ish, but it's really more like when you have cinnamon spice and you're like, oh, that's pretty intense.
But it reminds me of those. It reminds me of those like Red Hots candies that were in the little red box.
Yeah.
Not the fireballs, but the little red hots. Like when you take one, you're like, oh, I feel a little, but not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it's more flavor than you expect from a 6% beer. Like it's pretty boldly flavored. So
and it does say spicy Maya because that is actually the chocolate that you'd be looking for. So and it's available like at Whole Foods, Target, like a few other like higher end stores, I guess.
Maybe online these days.
By the way, I couldn't have been wronger about sugar cookies. I don't know what beer I was thinking about, but it definitely was not this. So that's cool. Thank you for the correction, Mr. Babineau. Of course,
just got
you drink it. That's great. Live fact check me totally. Jason, yes, the beer is actually pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the news and our march out of here, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a heads up of some shows that we have set up. Our schedule's pretty locked actually for the next little while, and so we like it. But next week we've got Mike Beebe. Remember him? He used to be a brewer here in town, part of our Past Brewers from San Diego series that we started with Derek.
He was a good ass brewer.
Yes, he was definitely he was the most famous ass brewer in San Diego, but he's now with Liquid Mechanics Brewing, so he'll be on next week. Then the 25th, we've got Kelsey Mcnair and North Park Beer Co.
Yeah.
Obviously, we love their beers. can't wait to hang out with them for an evening.
Gee, I hope they have something new to share. What's the
Right.
chances?
Well, it's a day, so there'll probably be a new beer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
On March 4th, we got Cosimo with the original 40 Brewing Co. We haven't had a chance to talk to him since he took over at the original 40.
Hey.
Also, cause I don't know if how many people listening were fans of our previous entity show before this one. He was a prolific guest on the past entity. Love talking to Cause about beer. He has since gone off to Europe, worked with several breweries out there, came back home. Now is leading brewing operations over at OG40 and led them into their new canning line. So they have a very small canning line now. So they're canning their products, which makes it a lot easier for them to be on our show. So it's really cool.
By the way, we're working on a collaboration with them, but it's a bunch of different people. It's the kind of a continuation to Black is Beautiful. And when we were talking,
hey, don't give it away. You can wait until he comes on the show.
Well, no. I just want to say what he
did. Give it away now.
No, I just want to say what he did because it was so sweet, and I was just like, oh my God, Cause, like I can't with you. But I was like, hey, I don't know if I should do it at my brewery first because I don't can. And he goes, I'll load it on my truck and take it to your brewery, Estela. Don't you worry. And I was like,
yes, that's awesome.
It was the sweetest thing. I was just like, oh, thanks, Cos.
That really happened. I was there. It was right before he called me the ultimate tool.
Someone's got to be the ultimate. Then looking forward to all of those, but especially looking forward to this one. March 11th, we got Chuck Silva from Silva Brewing. Very excited to taste some of his newer offerings. Of course, I've had a lot of his beer that has made it down here, but I'm looking forward to having a nice conversation with him. And then April 1st will be my official last show. Yes, it's April Fool's Day. So is it my last show? Yes, it's my last show. No, it is. Even though it is apropos that it's on April Fool's Day, that I'll be walking away. Before we jump into the news, we did want to make sure that we are telling you guys about some important stuff this week. California Craft Beer Week kicks off tomorrow. And the first cool event is actually a discussion with White Labs about professional homebrewers that went professional and their experience taking that leap. So I just put the link into the discussion so that you can check that out. That's at 4:00 tomorrow. Then the actual kickoff of the event is this whole crazy, awesome panel of craft beer professionals. Greg from Stone, the real one, and several other people.
The real one. Sorry, Prince.
I love Greg Prince, but the stupid one. So that one's at 6:30, and I just posted that link as well. Maggie is also posting her link to the San Diego beer spreadsheet if you want to get on that. But now here's something important. California Craft Beer Week this year is real, with it being virtual, is really a fundraising off with all of the guilds in California. And currently, San Diego is way behind LA in the amount of money that is being donated for the guild. So I just posted that link as well. You click on that.
It's almost like they have a huge population compared to us or something.
Yeah, it's all those damn influencers up there. Damn
right? But
Stella, get on it.
Get on it.
You get on it, Stella.
You're the influencer. Anyways,
hashtag Stella likes to drink.
One of the awesome things is if you can donate tonight or tomorrow, White Labs is matching all donations up to $7, so you can double your donation to the San Diego.
He meant 700.
Oh, I thought it said 700. Well,
it is 700.
That makes more sense.
You said
$7.
No, $700. They will match any donation up to $700 tonight and tomorrow. The match ends tomorrow night, so get in on that while you can. Beer 4, Doomblade. So Abel talked about Sublimely Self-Righteous. Apparently, there's now a black IPA season in San Diego, and Modern Times jumped in with Doomblade. Let's give it an Oh, this nose is all Chinook. I don't even know what hops are in it, but
You love
It seems like it seems like with black IPAs they do go the more piney evergreen route, which is really smart because there's a nice little dovetail there with the roast and that piney flavor versus trying to go like you can't really go like the candy orange or the candy pineapple chocolate covered.
It's not a tropical hoppy type of beer.
Right.
And this one came in at the perfect 6.66%. So hail Satan. But wow. This
Nice.
Did you just throw out a hail
very
Satan in there? Did you just?
I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jill. Yes, I did. I don't
Somebody really is high right now.
You're the one that's high, Abel. I'm gonna be high.
Obviously, you're low with going hell and Satan.
This beer is delightful. It's bringing back in my mind. It's bringing back terrific memories from when black IPAs were popular, but also Modern Times has modernized this beer a lot in that it doesn't have like the bracing bitterness of late 90s, early 2000s beer.
The flavor just cuts like wow, yeah.
It's one of the most drinkable black IPAs I've ever had. It's really nice. That and it reminds me of Cultures they used to do. I think they still do it. But that was kind of like the best beer in the beginning back in Solana Beach. This is really on par with that. Maybe a little tiny bit more, I don't know, flavorful. But yeah, I could drink a lot of this beer. Probably after the show.
Thank you, Modern Times and Vine and Vine. My Modern Times for making it, Vine and Vine for having it available so we could buy it on an Ad Flip Wednesday when I was standing there going, what beer are we going to drink for a show? Anyways, it worked out well. By the way, you can do this anytime you want. It's very easy to walk into Vine and Vine with a theme in mind and put together a package of beer. Abel had said all stouts, so I can't do that. And I don't mean that I can't. I don't want to drink 4 stouts. I want to have a little variety. But
I like the diversity here.
But I liked leaning into it being a dark, flavorful beer night, and
it was a dark beer show.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like a Stella's lighting,
right? I don't know. I don't know if we have ever
I like the vignette.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if we've ever had an episode where we didn't have a single blonde to rose-colored beer. So,
man, I did not miss the lack of haze on this show. I'm going to tell you. And not because they're not good beers, just we've had so much hazy IPAs.
I did drink one.
And I drink a Pilsner.
It's just nice to take a complete departure from the kind of beers we typically have on. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed them.
I did too.
You hear that, Mike Beebe? Step it up.
It's all IPAs coming from Beebe. We might get a lager. We might, but most it'll definitely be IPA heavy. Although they make mainly clear IPAs, so hopefully that's what the box is. We won't even know. We're gonna know when the box gets here, which will be allegedly. I shouldn't say anything about that more. But speaking of more, Mr. Hernandez, the owner and sole proprietor of San Diego Beer.News, what is going on in the San Diego beer world today, sir?
Well, there's some stuff. So Stone Brewing, it becomes synonymous with Escondido, but did you know, fun fact, they've actually had their business and administrative employees stationed in a distribution warehouse in Vista for years.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you knew.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know, sir. Tell me more.
Yeah.
I was not aware.
I was not aware. Please tell me more.
Well, I was not aware of that.
Go
tell
with
me more,
bit,
Garth. And anyways, but the business started in San Marcos. So now, in the current home of Lost Abbey, now they're going back to San Marcos because they just acquired a 110,000 square foot distribution facility that has 100,000 square foot of cold storage, a humongous cold box. So that place used to belong to Mark Stein. It was a family-owned operation that is no longer in business. And as a result of the whole thing, they're going to be moving everybody from Vista once they're back at work, because right now they're actually remotely working. So they haven't been in Vista probably for most of the year. And bring all those employees to San Marcos, transfer the distribution operations in Vista and the distribution operations that were at their distribution center in Escondido over to this new place, and then transfer the, or not transfer, but change the Escondido facility to be more for storage of materials and other items like that. But the mayor of San Marcos and everybody over there was really happy that Stone's coming back, because apparently they missed him when they moved to Escondido. I think it was 2006 to open that giant bistro.
There was nowhere in San Marcos that they could have built anything like the bistro and World Gardens. I mean, it's just they didn't. There wasn't the real estate. But can you imagine having 110,000 square foot building and only 10,000 square feet is offices, and the other 100,000 square feet is cold box? I mean, the electricity bill. Jesus, but supposedly we're talking about 17-foot high inside cold box. So that's pallets of beer stacked to the sky. Several 10, 13 forklifts at a time can be inside there without it being any issue. It's tremendous. And kudos to Stone for being able to that's a pretty specialty thing. I mean, how many companies could use 100,000 square feet of cold storage? There's not. I'm sure there wasn't a long line of people waiting to rent that this week.
And what they were saying is that it's great because they can grow into it. Obviously, they're not going to utilize it all immediately, and I think it's really cool to see them leaning on something within the business that really works. Because for Stone Brewing, a long-term operation, way over 20 years old, in a competitive market, they have something that other people don't. And that's a big distribution company with a lot of good brands within it. So I like to see the new CEO come on there and say, like, you know what, we're leaning into this. This is going to be a big part of our business, a larger part and a focal point that it hasn't been in the past. So pretty cool. All right, let's move on to another big company that's been around for over 20 years, Ballast Point. If anybody saw out there, they have a new Brewing for Diversity scholarship that they made up with UC San Diego Extension, and it will allow people to get a full ride to get to the UCSD Extension Brewing Certificate Program, go all the way through that, and then go to Ballast Point and have a multidisciplinary internship that will get them ready to join the industry. And so this will go to, it'll be annual, and it'll go to people who are of underrepresented, minority people, I don't know what to say, minority people, underrepresented folks who aren't in the industry now. They want to up the number of people that you don't typically see. So people who look like Brian.
Yes, totally. There's only one or two fat white beard guys in beer. It's hard to find us.
Don't forget the senior citizen.
Yes, that too. We meet up at Coco's at 4:30 a.m. on Sundays for breakfast.
Oh my God, it's so good.
But I think this initiative from Ballast Point is awesome.
Yes, it's great.
It's really nice to see Ballast Point's return to independent beer.
Yeah,
and bringing back some of these things that we're expecting of them and of the beer industry when possible, is supporting the industry and helping it grow. And scholarships for underrepresented people in the industry is a great way to do it. And not only offering the real world schooling, but then also the follow-up intern to give them real world experience so that they're ultimately hireable. Very generous. Very generous.
So now you're thinking, how can I get on? I want to apply for this. So ballastpoint.com/brewing for diversity.
Excellent.
And then you can apply for that through now through May 16th. Basically, they're going to have an application where you explain what you've done to personally advance diversity within your community and what you would do to extend those efforts if you were in the brewing community. So it's actually, I think, a really good application process there. And the finalists for that will be evaluated by members of Ballast Point, UCSD Extension, and the San Diego Brewers Guild Inclusion Committee. So
nice.
They will be interrogated before they get this thing.
Yes, exactly. You must make sure that you qualify and that you are a champion. And but that's cool that you have a chance to be rewarded. That's great, man.
Absolutely. And so one more great thing that happens with another good group that is doing good things this time for women. Pink Boots Society. We all love them. We know and love them. They have the Pink Boots blend that I was talking about, Yakima Chief hops earlier. They do that every year. They sell this Pink Boots blend that they work with the Pink Boots Society to come up with. And what they get from that goes into a donation that goes to Pink Boots, where they use it for their education initiatives mainly. So we've had a ton of participation from San Diego breweries in the past. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, a lot of people want to support charity efforts, but they can't. It's just a lot more challenging. But just in case it has been on the back burner, slid off the stove entirely, they want people to know that it's still not too late. Get that blend and do like Maharis is doing, where you can, they only have 6 days if they want to do it your way. But they have all the way until the beginning of March 8th for International Women's Day to brew that beer if they want to do it on Pink Boots Collaboration Brew Day. What I actually didn't know, and I'm kind of foolish for that, is that you don't have to brew it that day. So you can get the blend, you can get it in March, brew it in April or May, and it's just fine. So there's still not a ton left, but locally, if you want to get involved and do what you can do for Pink Boots, you still can. So that's the good news there. Just go on Yakima Chief's website, and homebrewers can do it as well, which is something I also didn't know. They can buy it.
So that's newer, only the past couple years have they opened this up to homebrewers, which is sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and post the link right now in the comment thread, just so that it's available to all of you in case you are interested. But it's really easy. It pops up similar to Brandon's website. There's a little banner that says Pink Boots Blend. Click on that. You can order a couple pounds shipped directly to you. If you're a brewery, obviously, they're going to look to you to buy 11, 22, 44, or a pallet. So get on in on that as you can.
Just so you guys know, real quick, usually the hop blend is chosen during GABF. But because this year, obviously, this past year we couldn't do it, they chose certain chapters that have the highest percentage in participation. So San Diego was one of them. And we hosted the selection process at Mujeres.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah. We had a lottery because obviously all the girls couldn't go in Pink Boots San Diego because of COVID. So they laid out all the hops. We did different blends, and Layla from Thorn, she actually picked the blend that we all chose to send up to Yakima Chiefs as the San Diego blend, and those were all chosen together to make the big hop blend that is now for sale.
That's rad. Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of community support, we couldn't possibly do this show without a fuck ton of it. And if you happen to support us for $6 a month or more, we call that the pint level. We give you a nice, wonderful shout out every week. And this week we've got a new patron. We always like that. That's exciting. Tamales Las Golondrinas?
Las Golondrinas.
Okay, so I knew I was going to butcher it. So say it right all the way from the top, Estella.
Tamales Las Golondrinas, which is swallows, birds. Swallows.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it means. And she is a member of Mujeres. She started her tamal business because of Mujeres. And she's actually the first girl that I've hired at Mujeres. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for supporting our show. We really appreciate it.
You can get her tamales at Latchkey on Sundays, on Tuesdays at Second Chance up in Karma Ranch. So she has amazing tamales, just FYI. So
that's amazing.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Excellent. Shout out to Ben, Bill, Brian, and Christopher from Pariah, Brian Goo, Captain Eli, Casey, Dan Diego's, Dante from Pariah as well, David Martin, past producer of the show, Doug, Garen with Beer Alien, Greg Prince from Stone, who was listening earlier.
Like you, Greg. You're the real Greg to us.
You're the real Greg
you are.
To us, indeed. The Indie Beer Show brand, COVID-19 pandemic, socially distanced, Zorball LLC. Thanks, Greg and Maggie. Hoppy Craftsman Podcast. James, Jared, Jason, Jess from Mail Tales, Joaquin from Quaff, Joseph, Joey from Hoppy Beer Gear, Juan, Judith Beer Historian, Kenneth, honorary patron for life, and honorary customer service award, Larry Smith, Liz from Hofbauer, Matt and Candice Bobico who are watching, Matt Knapp from The Perfect Pour, Miguel, Mr. Peacock from Tackcraft, we love you, Mike Sahagan, Nathaniel, Norman, OC Brew Girl. Side note, I love you, Mary. I hope it works out. Pacific Beer Chat, Robert from Turkey Boy who's listening, Rudy the artist who's here, Sergio Nigos, and the best patron pun name in history, Vegas J. Comical side note: Vegas J does not live in Vegas anymore, but we're not changing his damn name.
Did he go again?
He moved to Portland.
Did he ask us to change his name?
No. So, like, for example, he emailed me today to tell me he's in Portland and signed it Vegas J. So I know it's okay. I know it's all okay. And we love you. What was I going to say? Oh, we're getting to our top number one reason, thing, whatever you want to call it, how we are dealing with the mental pressure of the COVID situation. Estella, number one for you.
I've hung out with my family a lot.
Excellent.
My parents just got the vaccine, which I'm super excited about.
Oh,
I'm very happy.
Good job.
Both my mom and dad are 87, so they're older. But yeah, I've hung out with them a lot more. My mom makes me albondigas a lot. It's great. That's what I'm doing. So yeah.
That is rad. Abel, number one.
Well, majority of my family's in Texas, so I was fortunate enough to only take a week off when this whole pandemic hit, and then I went right back to work in the canning line, and then I got hired on full time at Society, which was great during this whole pandemic. But that was my mental kind of keeping me sane, because the Society people that I worked with, they're all my coworkers. They became like my family because I saw them every day, and we had those conversations. We were all going through the same thing, so we all can understand where we were coming from, and so that's what kind of kept me mental, and because nothing against Brandon, I wasn't stuck in the house all the time, because I don't know how that is. I feel bad for my son, because my son's in the house all the time, so I'm tired. At this point, I'm already talking to customers. I'm out there in the public, like I said, being the mask police, like you said, Brian, and all this kind of stuff. Then I want to go home and just all right, I want to digress. I don't want to do anything. But I still have my side of my life.
Right.
So then I have to get my son, and then I take him out to the public. We'll go driving because he's 16, so he's learning how to drive, or I'll take him to the beach. Like yesterday, I hung out with him all day yesterday, and we went to Balboa Park, and we parked at the park, and we walked all the way down through Balboa, and walked around and saw the museums and all that kind of stuff, so but it's just that's what kind of helped preserve my mentality during COVID, as Stella just sneezes all over the camera. That's
at least it can't come through.
Yes.
I muted my mic. Stop it.
You're supposed to cough into your elbow, lady.
There's nobody here. There's nobody here.
He is like the mask police. He's serious.
What about you, Brandon? What's your number one, Brandon?
Well, like I say, I'm a workaholic, and I had 2 jobs for 12 years before I decided I would just do writing. Then the pandemic came along, and so West Coaster, rest in peace, got it done, right? So I was able, like I said, I wrote that book, and it was kind of like my way to continue writing and have something to do. But honestly, that's a weird time. It's like everything I have been doing for so long and wanted to do. How am I going to keep doing that? It was really weird. So without something to work hard on, that just wouldn't be me. So what I did was I worked hard and I did San Diego Beer News, and that was kind of what got me through. At first, it's just a social media capacity and then a website capacity. Yeah. And like I said, it's just been something that's really got me through. Like we talk about, putting work into something and seeing good things come out of it. So that's what my number one thing to get me through. That said, I really like the pizza and Farmhouse House.
Awesome, man. This just in, very important comment. Bless you, Estella.
Thank you.
So for me, I think the thing that me and my wife have done the most is we have watched an incredible amount of movie series, and whether that was all 22 Avengers, all nine Star Wars.
Like, did you put them in chronological order?
No, we did weird orders with Avengers, like we did all the Iron Mans and all the the Thors and all the Captain America.
Like 70 hours of horror films or something like that?
We ended up doing 72 horror movies in 33 days of October. We started a couple days before September. We have just watched an incredible amount of movies, and that's been a great thing. Sometimes we do we watched all 3 versions of. Damn it! What's the haunted house that kills everyone? Anyways, just any excuse to watch a series of. No, it's fine. You're fine, Azella. Any reason to watch a movie series? We've made up a couple where it was like a series of just the same actor through different movies. Those kinds of things. It does help that I have every streaming service in the world and also more than 600 DVD and Blu-rays.
What's a DVD?
Right, exactly. But then all
the
this
weekend's version of David.
Yes. So all of this, but then it led me to one amazing first world frustration that really drove me insane. We watched all the Matrixes on one Sunday. Wow, Estelle is dying. We watched. Yes, I will give you a break, lady. So we watched all 3 Matrixes one Sunday, right? And I owned them, and they weren't available to stream anywhere, so I had to do it the old-fashioned way and put one DVD at a time in my PlayStation. Pain in the ass because we ended up watching it in our room that time.
Yeah, man. But first world problems,
right? The next day on Monday, HBO Plus added them for streaming. The next day.
That's pretty great.
But I would say we have easily watched more movies than there are days. Period. For the time that we've been under air quotes house arrest, we've watched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies. So that's been the type of entertainment that has got us through.
But he doesn't remember any of them because he was high as fuck.
Right? Exactly. I don't remember shit. It's really weird. Actually, I remember weird movie quotes that no one else remembers. So like in Terminator, everyone remembers "I'll be back." I remember these other weird side quotes. My brain works strange. But Mr. Babineau focused on barbecue skills. We can tell, Matt. And you did very, very well. Jason, number 3, he baked a shit ton of bread. So many people went the Breaking Bad route. Home brewing, that's a great way to focus. I thought I was going to do more home brewing, but I just didn't end up with the motivation. And then spending time with your family, that is freaking rad, man. I think that was one of the blessings in disguise of the overall pandemic was really helping people remember what's important about their life and whatever vehicle that is. So I'm appreciative of that. Yes, and remember how important to you baseball is. Really focus on it. But
that mini season was awesome. I was so thankful for that. That was great to watch every night and just take that ride. It was great.
I found it to be an incredibly exciting baseball season because it was so short and so condensed and so intense. And then I didn't like the fan crowd noise, but other than that, it was really enjoyable.
That was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I understand that was important for the players. I mean, their whole life they've been in a stadium with noise.
Well, so when they had the playoffs here in San Diego, I went to Fairweather right over there above Stone and to watch, and I can hear the game, and they actually had everything going on like there was actual people there. Other than the hat shuffle and the jumbotron, they would show highlights, and they would show they would play music during in between innings.
Play the dun dun.
Yeah, they would play music and all that during the game. And I was like, "Whoa, this is like like you said, it's probably the more mental aspect for the baseball players." But it was this weird, I wonder how echoey it sounds since there's no bodies there, reverberate. Everything's just echoed everywhere. So
I'm sure it was very strange and.
Not a lot of people there. It was probably like any Padre game for like the last 2 decades.
Right? It was certainly there was certainly just as many people there as to some baseball games I went to at Murph. I remember going to some late 80s, early 90s baseball games where I would pay $5 to get in right after I got out of high school on a day game on the Wednesdays and Thursdays when they were day games, and there was maybe 6,000 people there. There might as well be
Padres Expos.
Yeah, right. in a stadium that holds 72,000 people, 6,000 people were like crickets. It was, it was still enjoyable. I still love baseball, and again, that's how long I've been a fan. Is since really since I was like 12, so I guess 85-ish. So Steve Garvey was like my first Padre hero, even though it sucks later to realize he was really a Dodger hero that we brought here later after he had already had his crowning achievements. But I obviously Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman for life, yo. But I'm very, very excited about our team this year, and I hope they deliver on a third of what we see as our potential. So, because it's very rad. That's it. Let's shut it down. If you want to reach us, we're at Cheers at Indie.beer. We're Indie Beer Show on Twitter, The Indie Beer Show on Insta and Facebook, 619-798-6038. If you want to be the first person to sorry, Brandon. Brandon just texted me Long Dong Silver, and it really fucked me up. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. What he's pointing out is this show went way too fucking long, especially for one just us, where we were supposed to be done and early.
Yeah, we had no guests, and
we had no subject, nothing, and then
we had the best guests of all, each other.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Anyways, once again, 619-798-6038 if you want to leave us a voicemail. For Brandon, Estella, Mr. Hernandez, and myself, I'm Brian. You've been listening to the Indie Beer Show. Thank you, and good night.